The City Council, in collaboration with others, we began to dig and found that there has been a tremendous amount of money that has come to and through the city of Benton Harbor. Now, it's quite, I think, a coincidence.
What for?
If that exists. The Herald Palladium did an article yesterday. I think they may have been trying to beat us to the punch.
I ain't got my glasses.
Community connections. Benton Harbor's non-profit problem solvers are working together more with recipients and with other non-profits. See, news, if I can just share this with you, by profession, my background is journalism, communication, from DePaul University, which I'm not saying anything because I learned more on the streets of Chicago than I learned at DePaul. And I say that emphatically. But the word news, N-E-W-S, if you look at a compass, you see the same letters. And a compass is used to give a traveler direction, to give them guidance, and to point them in a certain way. In newspapers, news, it does that. So when they present articles, it's designed to point people, guide people, and send them mentally in a certain mind frame. Okay. So knowing that we were going to have this meeting today exposing the looting that has been done, the Herald Palladium jumped out in front of us. Maybe they talked to some moles or some informants, I don't know, to find out this information. But it's good, because all things work for the good, those who love the Lord. So, Citizens for Progressive Change, how many heard of them? Do they still exist?
No, they know they changed to the consortium.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's what they are.
Let me just read their 990. Type of organization is a corporation. Very important to understand. You see some other boxes as trust and association, other. But Citizens for Progressive Change Incorporated was set up as a corporation. Now remember what we said, corporatocracy, where that's a rule by corporations, which supplants democracy, which is supposed to be the rule of who? The people. Okay.
Who the CEO?
We're going to get to that.
Thank you. That's a surprise.
Name and address and principal officer is Marcus Robinson.
Yeah.
Now, he's listed as the president of the corporation. That's very important. Mr. Robinson was in New York and was brought back to Benton Harbor, or brought to Benton Harbor. Mr. Whitwine and other people were involved in his transplant or his residence here.
2000.
He said that the chairman of CPC, and this is what I heard him say, who was James Atterbury, called him to come back. And Mr. Atterbury was appointed as a parole board member by former Governor Granholm. So you got to follow and look at how the web is constructed,
We.
how it's weaved. Now, Citizens for Progressive Change on this particular 990 received in 2008 $2,295,473. In 2007, they received $1,901,000. $682. I'm breaking this up, but you can. For a total of $4,214,939. That's between 2007 and 2008. Now, for a non-for-profit corporation, for a city of 4 square miles and a population of 12,000 people, that's a considerable, I think, amount of money to do some good.
And we hold these people accountable for it.
Well, this is why we subpoena, because we want to ask questions. Because you're innocent until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. So we're not convicting anybody, but we want answers. But notice, when we set forth the subpoenas, they quickly called the Attorney General and asked, can the Commission use subpoena powers? And his answer was yes, because he read our charter. And he said, even though the state does not have the power to subpoena, the charter in Benton Harbor gives the elected officials the power to subpoena so they can subpoena. So since that phenomenon came about, this bill has been speeded up. Rushed through the House, rushed through the Senate. Now the governor is about to sign it, so then the emergency manager can become the dictator and suspend the council, and now you no longer will find out what happened to the money. And the very same people whose hands this money went through are the very same people that are advising and put him on the board of Consortium for Community Development, which is an offshoot of CPC, which the Herald Palladium so states. In a rare occasion where they were truthful. Now, this audit, see, every non-for-profit organization has to have a 990 and it has to be audited. Okay, the stamp for this audit is 2010, October 19th, which is kind of suspicious because the 990 was from 2008. So why is it that so much time has elapsed and now the organization that's being audited no longer exists? Things that make you go, Then the auditor is Plant Moran.
Wow.
Who's the same people who's been auditing the city for 30 years, auditing the Benton Harbor area schools.
And got me.
Well, that's why we want the citizens here.
Oh, they working on some other things too.
But the interesting thing is there was an audit done. Now, somebody did an audit for the city. What was the name, Honorable Commissioner?
Cambridge and Company. It's Cambridge.
Cambridge
Corporation.
They one got the 70 or the 75.
Well, somebody here, Grosser, let me see.
is Cambridge.
It may be the same people.
It's Cambridge. Cambridge.
Cambridge.
And Company.
Okay.
I might not be with y'all, but I read this.
Greisinger, CFO. but we don't see the audit.
No paper trail, no comment.
Then you have where at the end of it, it says that the financial statement is that of an opinion. So it's like a slight disclaimer. But the person who's responsible for it, I'm not going to say his name, but he's an employee for Whirlpool.
You're totally being disrespectful.
Shouldn't files be being charged?
Totally being disrespectful.
Well, it's a public document, so it's Carl Speitner is his name. Now I'm going to read off some of the board members, and I'm going to talk about, because here in another document it said that the board members received $58,000 collectively, but they worked average of 1 hour per week. The chairman of CPC was James Atterbury. A trustee was Ken Gavin. Another trustee was Benita Mitchell. Another trustee was the special advisor from the governor, Greg Roberts. Another trustee is Felicia Flowers. Now, me saying these names is not an indictment on the person, because you need good people everywhere sitting on boards. And they like to get good people to sit on boards to give an appearance that something good is happening.
All right.
So if I call your name, don't feel like I'm calling you out. Todd Gustafson from Michigan Works, Jeff Cowles, Steve McCoy, Benny Bowers, Lee Reed, and Marcus Robinson as the president. Now keep in mind, some of the people that's on the board was on the payroll. Which seems like a conflict of interest. And then some of the people who were not only on the board and on the payroll, but was receiving grants.
Isn't that in the Michigan State Constitution that all that stuff is against the law?
Well, I mean, this is something I think some forensic scientists would have to
It's in the Constitution.
have to examine.
Don't do that.
Do it.
Okay, let me just read some of the organizations. I hope I'm not boring you.
Come on.
But keep in mind, the mission statement for this organization was assisting individuals that right there don't sound right.
Come on.
Assisting individuals, private and public entities in obtaining federal, state, local foundation. That's kind of vague. Briefly describe the organization's mission and or most significant activities. Okay. But these are some of the organizations that got money. You had Connect Up. They got $723,863. And their mission statement was to eradicate the social ills in Benton Harbor through systematic change, making Benton Harbor a community where there will be young people in leadership roles. Students are being the teachers, and there's a passing of the baton. Also, community residents are empowered and take on quality leadership roles. Another organization, Leaders of Tomorrow, they received $349,421. Promote structured alternatives by exposing students and their families to an educational environment influenced by positive social, cultural, and recreational enrichment activities. Now, I can say that one of the groups that still exist that are doing some of these things is First Chance. That was part of, but that was, that's a long story, which I can't explain that.